All right, so I guess we'll call this meeting on November 16th, 2023 of the Information Technology Advisory Committee. Oh, there's Charles. So I'll wait till where's that damn admit button? There with the mouse. There we go. Charles, a second to finish connecting. I can't see Charles's window. Do you guys see him?
I do see it. Yeah,
I see
okay.
the window. I
Here,
don't see video.
here we go. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Charles.
There you go.
Hi, Dave.
Hey.
Sorry for the delay.
That's
Right.
okay. We're recording and I'm about to call the meeting to order at 7:39 p.m. I guess I started the other preamble right before you came on, so I'll live with that. So the first order of business is approving the minutes from last time. And I'm sharing those now. Let me know when you need me to scroll. I guess I should start scrolling down now. And I am hoping I can get the results of that AI companion from Paul. I'm really curious how it did.
Okay, I'm good. Did we hear back from Dave Petto?
I saw that Paul sent him an email, but I don't think we heard back on that particular topic from him.
Okay.
So and actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure I saw Paul send that. I think he may have been that way have been another follow-up on the light board meeting.
Didn't Phil also volunteer to send?
Phil did the previous time and sent something, and that's when that was the thing in the first part of that paragraph.
Yeah.
Where you know Phil sent the follow-up and Dave sent something back, which was basically we've picked a vendor. And that was where we left it at that point, because we did not have they hadn't really gotten underway yet at the time Phil sent it. They basically were just getting started.
Regarding the light board meeting, did that happen?
Yes,
Yep.
it did. That's one of the agenda items.
Okay. By the way, when I got your email, including all of the connection information for the Zoom meeting, and also the minutes, I didn't get the agenda item. Are you transmitting that, Dave, or is that just sitting on?
Yeah, I don't know that we've. I'll make sure to send them around. I don't know that I don't remember Paul ever sending them around, because I've always grabbed them from the website. But I'm happy to send them around once it's done as well. And Paul may have also, when he sent it to town clerk, he may have CC'd us, and I just didn't realize it.
Okay.
Did I keep scrolling?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yep.
If I suddenly drop, there's some sort of construction going on in the street. There's a bunch of equipment out there digging. I can hear them doing something right now. No idea what.
It seems a little oddly phrased. Jim Barrett's noted that Jonathan Burge noted that some of the electric vehicle charges in town didn't load her.
Oh, that sounds like I screwed something up and either missed both of you noting different things or
I think I might have noted that there was a plan to include EV chargers at the library. I think Jonathan might have
yeah,
noted that
and
some of them don't
yeah,
work well.
okay, I'll fix, let me,
Yeah, that makes more sense there.
oh, heck, I'm doing this wrong. I'm using Emacs and I'm trying to do Windows crap. Come on. There we go.
I think you
It's
still
still
got a,
wrong.
yeah, right there, you've got something missing or
Yeah.
something extra.
Include EV chargers at the
I
new
think I'll just take
library.
the ad out and put a period. Okay, either way.
Went to all that trouble to try to cut and paste when it would
Yeah,
have been
yeah,
easier to just retype it.
probably at that point, yeah.
I don't remember if we heard anything back from Peter Struziero either. We'll have to.
Yeah, I suspect that Paul did not actually do that between last meeting and now, but we'll find out when he gets on.
Okay.
Okay to keep scrolling?
Yeah.
By the way, did we ever decide, Dave, whether your term and Dan's would be 1 year or 2 years? Because there seems to be a little.
There was we talked about it, but we did not we did not actually come up with a specific plan.
So
I
that,
probably should have thought to make that an agenda item tonight, but I forgot. Oh wait, there's Phil. Sorry, I hate the I'm doing this during a screen share.
You scroll down.
Yep, just a second. I have to get my mouse back to the right window. There we go.
Next time we'll split the duty so you don't have to do everything.
Yeah. Well, that's the next agenda item is to pick a secretary.
Apologies for being late, everybody.
That's all right. Hey, Phil, we're reviewing the minutes from last time, and
We say whoever showed up last would be the secretary.
Paul still hasn't got here, so you may be off the hook, Phil.
we can tell them this good news. You're no longer chair.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I moved to.
There was one bit of awkward phrasing where if you go up half a page. Okay, stop. Unfortunately, we do not have that at this time. What is
Oh,
that?
yeah, because at the time I hadn't agreed to do that yet. I'm just going to get rid of that sentence.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be less confusing.
Yeah.
So I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay.
Sure, I'll second that one.
And give me a second to get back into tonight's minutes.
Could probably stop sharing if that's easier.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. There we go. All right, so I guess I'll do a roll call vote. Jim,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
I'll abstain as I usually do for my own minutes. Jonathan,
Aye.
Phil,
I will abstain as well. I didn't attend the last one, unfortunately.
okay, Kristen, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm
Muted.
muted.
Should I abstain because I wasn't at the last one?
1, 2, 3.
We're 50 on 50 on whether we do that or not. I think if you would like to vote yes, you may do so, but I think we're sometimes
It's fine. It'll be fine either way.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
aye.
By the way,
And Char,
we're okay too. Yeah.
okay, so it'll carry with 4 yeses and 3 abstentions. All right.
I actually don't see a whole lot of other committees abstaining from voting if you weren't at the last one, but anyways.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it does. It's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters either way.
All right, we don't have anyone from the public here, so I don't think we have to worry about public comments or questions. So item 4 is, if I'm gonna be a co-chair, I'd really rather not be trying to co-run a meeting and also take notes. Would somebody be willing to take on the secretary duties? I mean, I'm happy to, after the fact, throw them in the template and ship them to town clerk and take care of all that stuff. But during the course of the meeting, it would be really helpful if somebody else was typing it up. And if not that, should we go through a rotation where, someone just picks it up each time?
I'm in favor of a rotation.
I would be fine with a rotation.
Okay. Somebody will just volunteer at the beginning of each meeting, or do we gotta actually, because we never know who's necessarily gonna be able to attend at the time we set up a meeting.
Well, we can keep a list of who's done it recently.
Oh,
and,
that'll be easy, because one of the rules of meeting minutes is you actually have to say who wrote them.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the template I mark it with the secretary. Like I'll just change it to acting secretary or something like that for the, in case they care. I don't know what the rules are on committee structures, if it has to be a formal thing that someone is always it.
I don't think so.
I think we can ask for a volunteer, and then if no one volunteers on a particular evening, then we will pick a name at random based on who hasn't done it recently.
Sounds good.
So
Okay.
I'll volunteer to take it this time.
So would someone want to make a motion
I
to
can
that
do it.
effect?
Make a motion to have a rotating chair, a rotating secretary based on election at the time of the meeting. Or volunteering.
Any comment? Discussion?
The discussion I'd say is, will the co-chairs take responsibility for posting the meeting with the town clerk? Because I think it will be more complicated if we try to have the secretary do that.
Yeah, I'm happy to
Yep.
continue dealing with that part of it, because that's easy. And even if I'm not there, I can handle that remotely. As long as someone gets me the text, I can get them into the template, and that part's fairly simple.
Well, I was thinking about the meeting scheduling with the town
Oh
town
yeah,
clerk, not-
yeah, no, that I've taken, Dan and I'll take that on.
Okay.
I no longer have to nag Paul. This is a win.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally have whenever I set up the calendar invite for the third Thursday, I have an alarm that goes off a week before, nag Paul, which I can now finally turn off.
You just change it to Dan, or something.
Yeah, right.
I realize this is a lame excuse, okay? I am not a touch typist. I will, however, be happy to volunteer to take notes. However, I will be writing these down and then, in my hunt and peck way, converting them to type. So it's going to take me longer, and I may interrupt the meeting more than somebody who is a touch typist to get clarification. That's all.
That's fine.
Okay.
And
All right.
I can do it for today.
Thank you, Phil.
Okay, thanks. If you want to take over for now, I guess we need a motion. Do we need a motion for this, or did we just decide it since we're not actually naming someone?
I don't think we really need to make a
Okay.
motion.
Okay, then I've probably taken care of that much with my notes, describing what we're gonna do.
Okay.
And
If we get pushed back, we'll vote on it
Yeah.
next time.
right. Okay, thank you all. So the next topic is the meeting with the Craig Spinelli of the light board, his assistant Sam, whose last name I've forgotten already, and I probably couldn't pronounce it right anyway. There was also one person from the light board there. I should have wrote this down. I was actually counting on Paul because I saw he was taking notes. What the heck was that guy's name? Was it Justin something? Do you remember his name, Dan? Or Kristen?
No,
Oh, Travis something. Frank?
That rings a bell.
I think all the introductions, I think a lot of them had happened by the time I was able to get my audio totally sorted out. So the only person I'm sure was there was
Yeah,
Robin,
it was-
because he was sitting right in front of the camera.
Yeah, it was Travis Frank was the guy's name.
And that was others from the light board, right?
Yeah, Craig Spinelli, who's the general manager, and his assistant general manager Sam Zmancevic. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. Osmancevic.
Okay. So sorry, can you spell Frank? Frank.
It was Travis Frank, Franck.
Yeah. CK. And
Craig Spinelli,
Craig Spinelli.
Spinale. And of course, Robin Tilburg on the Belmont Light side.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And then there were two people from their MSSP, which is one integer. I'm not sure how they pronounce it. It's the number one NTEGER. So it looks like integer with a one, but I'm not. If I caught it right, I think they called themselves one integer, as opposed to one-teger or something like that. But I'm not 100% certain.
I thought it was integer one, but
Oh, is it integer one? Maybe that's what it
I don't
was.
know. I'll do a quick Google and
Yeah.
see if I can find it.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, it's integersecurity.com with a one instead of the I. There was Aaron Rice and Nathan Rise. So the first one with a C, the other one with an S. Go figure.
Right.
And
Sorry, Aaron Rice and
Nathan Rise, Rise.
Right. Cool.
And they did a briefing where they gave us an overview of their services. And they're an MSSP, and they're a subsidiary of the same company that oh wait, I think Paul may be trying to join. There he is.
Want to pull his leg and tell him that he's been elected secretary?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll be happy to do.
Hey, Paul. Sorry if I didn't see the waiting room pop up.
Oh, no worries.
That's
I
hard to
don't know how
monitor.
long you were waiting. So we've just to fill you in, we've approved the minutes. He's not there anymore. Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's there. He's just,
Yeah. Okay. We approved the minutes. We elected you secretary. No, just kidding. So we decided that we'll do a rotating secretary.
Yeah. it's good idea.
And we also decided we didn't actually need to vote on that. So Phil's taking it over for tonight. Next time somebody else will step up, and we'll just go around that way.
Sounds good.
Whoever takes them will send them to me. I'll put them in the template and take care of the town clerk stuff.
Hey, Dave, now that we're going to do this on a
Rotating.
a non
Rotating basis.
you are the professional secretary and the rest of us are amateurs. This AI rendition of the meeting may be that much more helpful.
So that was something that we tried it last time, and I think Paul must have the transcript because it was his Zoom meeting, and that would be really cool for us to be able to see it. But
Was it me or was it John Burge?
well,
who
I
did
think
it?
John was the one who wanted to set it up, but doesn't it have to? But since it was tied to your meeting, isn't it that where it is? Because I couldn't find it.
I think it happens locally on the machine of the person who enables it. But let me check I'll check the Zoom folder on I can't remember exactly which MacBook I was on.
Okay, yeah.
But if it's on mine, otherwise Jonathan, I think, might have it. on
Okay,
his.
yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Because yeah, I mean, I'm not averse to using it to see how the transcript does. It's I've heard some people having privacy concerns with it, but this is an open meeting, so I don't know. And we're recording it, and at some point you're gonna have to show me how to put it on YouTube. So
Yeah, that is true. Although meeting minutes usually are not a direct translation of or
correct, but it might help whoever's doing it, having that after the fact. Like as Charles is saying, if he's writing stuff down and he's got to convert stuff from paper, it might be helpful to have it.
And just in general, I mean, even for those touch typists amongst us, it might be interesting just to see. You may have missed something. You look in the verbatim rendition, and
It's not going to be verbatim, right? That it's not a it's advertised as a summary.
Okay, well, even as a summary.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it may be useful. I don't know, but
I'm just looking, and this was the 10/26 meeting we're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah,
Yep.
no, it's not in the meeting folder.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll ask Jonathan
So I think it's
If
on
he- if he's
Jonathan's
got it.
system.
if he's got it. Okay. And so anyway, we were just getting started on reporting out on the meeting with Belmont Light. So I've given Phil all the attendees. Phil, from us, it was Paul, Kristen, Dan, and me. I was just getting started on describing what is it, one-teger, one integer one, whatever they're called. And they gave us, like I said, they gave us a presentation on their services. They certainly seem like a a pretty comprehensive security service provider. They're a subsidiary of the company that they use for their IT support. Although I'm completely spacing on the name of that company. And you know, the reason they're a subsidiary is so that people who use other managed service providers can use them for their security. You know, you don't have to be a customer of the one to use them, and that's not unusual in the industry. Though the managed detection and response company that I'm arguably a reseller for is sort of handled the same way. They are a subsidiary of another company that offers MSP services, and they spun them off specifically so that they could try to get the security from others.
I got the sense that there was some kind of acquisition there at some point, and that they were.
That may
Right.
have happened with those guys. In
Yeah.
the case of the one that I am, it was a spin-off. I don't know their history. So they went through that. It certainly looks good. They used the Center for Internet Security framework for what they base their security assessments on. And as I recall, and Paul, you were taking notes, so you may be able to speak to this better than me. They said that they're looking at implementation group 1, which is the most basic cyber hygiene stuff, and they had a lot of green stuff on the technical controls.
Yeah.
And a bunch of yellow stuff on the policy and procedure controls. And that they're working with them on that. They gave a figure of roughly, you know, about 65%. But because they didn't go deep in the weeds of which controls are which, they kind of gave us like a top 10 of which ones are, you know, they're, you know, really good at, and then and a couple of the most important ones that they really need to improve on, but they didn't go real deep in the weeds on all that, which is, given the nature of the meeting, was fine. But I came out of it, me personally, feeling better because I was expecting it to look much worse. No, you know, not to ding Robin, but just the fact that Robin is all there is always been a real concern for me. The one thing that I did leave with a bit of concern on is these guys are focused entirely on the IT part of the business, and not the operational stuff, the actual electric grid pieces. There's another company who manages that for them, but they don't really provide security services. And at the moment, they're working, the integer one, whatever they're called, is working with them. And I've completely forgotten that company's name, to actually get at least the network traffic information so that they can pull it into the SIM. And even if they don't have the tools that within the SIM to understand the protocols, they're using a machine learning process where they could at least get a baseline and look for anomalies. Even if they don't necessarily know what it is, they can raise an alert with the other company in theory, you know, in that with
Is
that
that-
possibility.
The parent company is TechMD. That is the parent of integer one. And was the other company ACS?
Yes, ACS, that's right. That's they're the ones who run who manage the grid pieces.
Right.
Guys,
And
I'm
they're
on the
they're a
website.
SCADA vendor, basically.
I'm on the website for One Integer, and on the company about page, it says they're a fully independent subsidiary of ICS, a leading provider of outsourced IT services.
Okay.
So I wonder if ICS also owns TechMD.
Maybe.
But yeah, TechMD was the name Robin mentioned to us.
Yeah.
So either that, or maybe I just got confused, and TechMD is who Robin uses, and they said something about ICS and I conflated them.
Well, so the thing on Wantager, their website may be out of date because it says in another place that ICS is changing its name to TechMD just to muddy the water.
Wow,
Oh, okay, so yeah.
Great, thanks.
All right,
Hey,
so that clarifies it actually, Dan.
Yeah. Well,
Hey,
just
Dave.
it means that there's more names to keep track of.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead, Phil.
Oh, I was just wondering, so ACS, what exactly side of, is this the SCADA system?
Yeah, the SCADA system.
Okay. And is it primarily that, or is there more to it? That ACS.
So ACS manages the SCADA system, and I don't know what other, I don't know enough about the operational technology to say what that entirely encompasses.
Okay.
And my understanding of SCADA is that, it's a control system that goes out and touches like, almost everything they have, but I don't know, in any detail what that really looks like. I do know that there are, very specific network protocols within the SCADA environment. I've seen a couple of papers on that, and it's that network traffic that, because it all runs through, traditional switches, in theory, all that data can be shipped off to Integer One's SIM. And actually, it's not so much their SIM because they've actually contracted that with somebody else, and I don't remember if they gave us the name. I think they did.
I'm throwing a link to my notes, which I moved into a Google Doc, just into the chat, so you guys can all
Okay.
access those.
That should be and that should be included as an attachment to the minutes.
Yeah, we can do that.
Maybe.
If we review a
They're a
document.
little sensitive to throw into the minutes.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't think
There's nothing here that's like,
and we're not saying anything. I don't think we're saying anything here today that I would worry about for an executive session. Not that there's a war on anyway, but
one
yeah,
thing
so,
they seem focused on really wanting to switch their desktop from Sophos to Sentinel-1, I think.
oh yeah, the EDR stuff, right?
The EDR stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but
Move from which to what?
they use Sophos now for their endpoint protection.
271.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't tracked that space in so many years. To me, it's like, there's a zillion of them out there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, both of those are reputable firms. I mean, Sentinel-1's a little bit more like cutting edge with the threat detection. Like Sentinel-1 was the one who detected that 3CX supply chain compromise. So they got chops. I know the folks there well. They definitely got chops.
Yep.
I mean, but Sophos is a completely, legitimate endpoint, and they have a pretty complete, suite of capabilities. So
is it what was it that they were concerned about with Sentinel-1? I mean, with Sophos.
I don't know. Just thought it was old.
I'm guessing it's a preference. My guess is that in terms of their analysis and stuff, they've got probably more automation built around it. Like I said, I'm speaking from my own experience with the one that I am still on the list of being a reseller for, even though I've never tried to sell anything. And they also, they'll only talk to you if you use one of like 3. And Sentinel-1 and Sophos were both on that list. I forget the third one. EDR products, and their rationale is it's too expensive for them to develop the analytics for every single one out there, because they've got their own secret sauce analytics stuff, and so they want to keep themselves in that space. So I'm guessing it's a similar thing.
Did This would have been a delicate issue to discuss, I suppose, but did the issue of there not being another staff member?
It
besides-
came up. We mentioned it. So it's true that Robin doesn't have any other staff members, but for a lot of the things that go on, he does get support from TechMD. He's got there's apparently some dedicated people. Now they're all remote. So so if something happens where it's got to be a person on the ground, Robin is it. And that's a bit scary in the case of an incident, but for day-to-day operational stuff, it's probably not completely unreasonable. But we did strongly suggest that they augment him, whether it be with a contractor or a full-time staff that could be boots on the ground local.
One of the things that came up was that, when we were talking about the kind of the CIS, where they were, like, one of the things that came up was like, oh, they're not really as far along in terms of some of the policy implementations and so on. Like, BMLD still has work to do to sort of craft their policy. And Robin was like, well, yeah, I mean, it's just, I'm really busy and it's just really hard to get to that. And so that we sort of were like, listen, like, you need to be able to act both tactically and strategically. And you can't do that if your nose is to the grindstone day in, day out, just managing an organization with, I don't know how many, BMLD probably has like 40 employees or more, and so, I mean, that sort of speaks to that. Like, yeah, Robin hasn't had the time or the bandwidth to like do the InfoSec IT, policy components that they need to be doing because he's, chief cook and bottle washer.
Right.
And they were like, well, but, some of those policies might really affect our staffing and our, our numbers. And it was like, well, yeah, but a ransomware attack is going to affect your numbers too. Like, I mean, it was a little bit jarring to hear them be like, but if we staff up, I mean, that's going to really affect our profitability. And it's like, wow, it's 2023. Like, really?
Yeah.
I feel like the whole zeitgeist there, the whole mindset is very like, nobody's going to bother hacking us. We're like a little local utility. Who cares? I really do. And it's worrying to me, but
Just
so the one thing that I came away with though is that Travis, who's on the light board, seemed to he keyed in on that. And
it was really good having him there.
So that at least we although I will say I'm the cynic. I thought I came away from the meetings with the select board feeling the same way, and
I feel more confident that Travis and the light board can actually affect change. It was really good having him there. I thought he asked really good questions. He's got a technical background, though not an InfoSec background, but I feel like his ears were perked up and he was like, definitely looked concerned over some of what was discussed.
Yeah.
I'm with Dave too. I mean, I don't think it's the biggest risk they face. I mean, I think most attacks against BMLD are going to be phishing attacks and malicious email attachments and so on. On the other hand, they definitely can't blow off the OT side of their operation, and they should be engaging with some firms that really have domain expertise around, the ICS platforms, the ICS protocols. And I don't know, Dave, when we asked them, like, well, what about attacks, targeting the OT system, their explanation for how they would be able to detect those sounded really fishy to me. Like, well, like we could detect, we would see the traffic, and then we have people who would like look at the traffic and figure out what was going on. And it was
that's not quite what it was. Even worse than that, right? They would, well, depends on your perspective. It was they'd pull it in and using the ML processes that they're
Right.
you know, their MDR sim, whatever
That's right.
you want is, you know, will develop a baseline, and then when they see something outside that baseline, they'll, you know, it'll generate an alert. And I've heard that before. And you know, for in the IT world, you know, I can certainly see where even if you don't know how to interpret something, you see something that's just way different than you've ever seen before, you raise an alert. I get that. But usually you still have some understanding going in of what's going on. And
You tend to get alert fatigue from those kind of things
right.
where it kind of raises too many alarm. Anyways, we'll understand that one.
Also, like just straight up detection of anomaly alerts are kind of useless if there isn't a plan for follow-up and orthogonal information.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously they would, if they're gonna do it, and it's gonna require some coordination with this ACS company. They're gonna, you know, there's gonna have to be some kind of an escalation that ACS is part of, because they run the SCADA system, right? They're the
Yeah. And it's a little concerning that, you know, ACS is the vendor. I mean, you know, not that, you know, they're oblivious to security stuff, but it is sometimes good to have just a independent set of eyes that is not, you know.
well, I mean, from a security
Oh, yeah.
perspective, I agree with you. In terms of you know, just being the operator of it doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah.
They know it. I mean, in terms of the raw operation, they know it as well or better than anybody else.
Yeah.
In terms of managing alerts and things like that, I agree with you. You know, some kind of a third party would probably be better.
So what can be our role in this? And we clearly have concerns. We have ideas and how things could be better. But within our mandate, what can we do? I mean, do we engage the board, the light department board more on a one-on-one? Or do we raise this with the select board, our select board? I don't know. I'm just throwing this out because I don't know the answer. I think that's what we should be thinking about.
What got shared in terms of a meeting summary and our impressions with anybody so far?
Nothing. This is our first go through.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be within our purview to say, you know, as an advisory committee, we heard this, and this, and this would be the summary of conclusions, and you know,
That's what I would suggest, like maybe putting together a little readout, sending it to Travis and the board and saying, you know, here's what we heard, here are some concerns we have, and, you know, here are some maybe proposed solutions, but we'd be willing or happy to. This meeting started out originally, we were going to meet with the light board, and then they were just really busy with other stuff. And what's his name? Craig reached out to me and was like, you know, listen, would it be better to just talk to our staff first? And I was like, actually, yeah, it probably would be better to have just meet with you locally and Robin and crew and you know, kind of level set. And then if we want to do a follow-up with the board, we can. So the original idea was to meet with the board. We don't necessarily have to, but we probably should just do a little like, here's what we heard, here are our concerns. We'd be happy to have a follow-up meeting with you and talk in more detail about this and propose some fixes, you know.
And let me ask, how receptive were they to all of the the discussions that we had in that meeting? I mean, did they seem like, hey, I mean, was it a little bit of like mind your own business, or what was the feeling?
My sense was that I didn't get a mind your own business. There was, you know, I mean, Craig, I don't remember if Sam really said very much during the meeting. Craig, at least, you know, when we talked about adding staff, he kind of got a little nervous about the money. Travis definitely seemed very open to what was going on from our perspective. I don't think Craig was necessarily against anything, and frankly, if they gave him the budget to do, to do it, he'd probably be fine, Um,
All right, well then.
I think he'd be worried if they said, go hire somebody and go figure out how to pay for it too. You know?
Well, then I would agree with the assessment that we should probably send a communication around what our conclusions were, and I'm sure that any pointers to anything that would be helpful to them would be appreciated, right?
Yeah. I mean, one point I made is the same point I made to the school committee and so on, which is we are here. We are an internal consultancy for the town of Belmont. We are happy to help you investigate any questions you may have, or, help, connect you with people who could, so I mean, I made that pitch as well. I don't know if, Travis was there and heard that. So they could reach out to us, but yeah, no, I think that's probably the right approach, Phil. And we can maybe, Dan and Dave and Kristen and I can put our heads together and figure out what our takeaways were from that meeting. They didn't seem hostile to me. They seem very,
not at all.
they seem pretty open. Yeah, I didn't get the sense of like, man, we are thinking about cyber 24/7 here. Like, this is top of our list. And like, we are so down the rabbit hole on this stuff. It was just kind of like, oh,
No, I think they were pretty straightforward about this just isn't on our priority list right now. Like, we are aware it's there, but see, we have these services. And so we're taking care of it to the best we can right now. But like, one of the things that worried me a little bit is that there seemed to be a resistance to dedicating like any time at all to developing those policy gaps, or to doing it in conjunction with the rest of the town, which is of course one of the things we really want for the incident response plan.
Yeah, so I asked specifically about that. The answer Craig gave was, I wasn't quite sure what to make of it. He made it sound like, well, we have this very special piece of for certain types of incidents, it doesn't make sense for that to be the town's plan. It's got to be ours. I'm like, yeah, but you still have to coordinate with the town. Well, of course we'll coordinate with the town. That'll be part of the plan. Well, then it's all the same plan at this level, and it branches out. I don't think he got that. I wasn't asking him to be subservient to Dave, but rather to work with him and provide his piece of it to Dave, and then when they figure out their hierarchy or whatever is necessary, that part of it all gets done together. I mean, I was pretty explicit. It's like, Dave's hired somebody to help him do this. You guys ought to be part of that, and I'm hoping that Dave intends for that. But we obviously haven't had a chance to talk to Dave yet.
Would we be necessarily blindsiding Dave if we recommended, as in our list of concerns, the fact that Dave has taken the first step, and that the light department should investigate the possibility of collaboration on that?
I don't think so, but I mean, when we've talked to Dave before, I mean, Dave's biggest concern is that he would love to do that, but his concern is that they all answer to different people than him, and therefore they can say, go away.
True, but I mean, this would also be if you wish, a first step, if you wish, on our part to suggest this in a memo to the board of directors of the light department.
Travis certainly seemed more open to that line of thinking in the meeting.
Is that Travis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we get this on the table in a way that's not going to put anybody on the proverbial spot, but suggest something that we hope, will happen as quickly as possible, sort of a town-wide, as opposed to a silo-specific approach to this, the better.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the silos are going to have their pieces because they have to, but it should all work its way up into a common starting point, and that's what I would suggest, and that's what I've suggested to lots of government agencies as I've been doing this stuff over the years.
Well, and also like the town really needs to coordinate in terms of like the tabletops and the preparation and so on. I mean, there just needs to be an awareness, like you said at the meeting, Dave, like, there's a weakest link phenomena here. And like,
Right.
you guys can do everything right, but if the school department has an unpatched public facing, application, like that's going to be their entryway. And then, your environment is vulnerable as a result of that. So you need to, it needs to be a holistic plan. So, I think we do need to, I know Dave is working with someone. It's really unclear to me what their mandate is, whether they were hired to deal with the town's incident response plan, but not the school, library, and light department, or in public safety, or if it was no, this is a whole of town assignment. But that's one thing I think we need some clarity on.
Yep.
And then what I would say is, I think our marching orders would probably be, let's get our readout back to Travis and Craig and Robin. Here's what we heard. Good job. Here are some areas of concern. Part of that should be the, larger townwide incident response plan and BMLD's role in that. And then I think we should, plan on meeting with Dave maybe at next month's meeting and sort of say, okay, where are things and what's the plan for, Q1, Q2 to put this thing together, and try and understand the scope of it. And really hope to help guide that process. I think in the next calendar year, help advise and oversee that process.
Might it not also be a good idea to include as one of the items on this list our concern that there isn't a, I don't know what you want to call it, a physical staff member, junior member perhaps, to work with Robin? And I would describe it as junior, because junior implies less of a threat and also less of a cost. Less of a threat to Robin, less of a cost to the.
There's any number of ways they can do that with from a staffing perspective. If full-time is a problem, there are contracting companies they can get what they need on a dedicated basis, and and figure it out. And sometimes those are they look more expensive because the hourly cost is is higher than what a full-time person sees in their paycheck, but then you don't have to cover the benefits and all the other stuff, and so it ends up being cheaper in the long run.
So are there concrete actions that I should take as in the minutes for?
So I think, well, the suggestion that I'm hearing is that we do a write-up. So I see that, I haven't looked at it yet, but I see that we've got Paul's notes in the Google Doc. I can take a whack at drafting something and run it by. We're not supposed to deliberate. I think it might be okay if I deliberate with just the non-quorum 4 of us who attended, and come up with it, and we can either decide whether we can just send that out or if we have to vote on it next meeting. I don't remember how we've handled those things in the past.
Yeah, I think that's fine. And I think we could probably vote as a committee that we should just let you submit the letter, draft and submit the letter to the light board and the attending members.
Okay, someone want to move to do that?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay. Roll call. I guess we're supposed to do these on roll call votes.
You need a second? I'll second it.
It was seconded.
Okay,
So
sorry.
I'll vote yes. Jonathan,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
and Jim.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I have that action.
Just to answer your question, Dave, in the past, we have done this both ways. One is the way we're doing it now, where we vote to like give a subcommittee sort of a blank check to finish up a document and then submit it to wherever. In other cases, we've actually had the subcommittee, write a draft. We then discuss it, at our full meetings, and then, sort of vote to send it on to the recipient. But we've done it both ways.
Actually hoping to avoid the whole subcommittee.
Yeah, we don't want to call it a subcommittee because that has other implications.
Has gotten us in trouble in the past.
Figuratively,
Have Ellen
not
Cushman on our
literally.
back.
Yeah.
But I say that figuratively just so people get the sort of
Yeah.
gist of what I'm trying to convey.
Okay, no, that's good to know. Thanks.
We want to make, however, in addition to giving you this mandate, do we want to have Phil include certain major items that we want to see included in the memo or directive? We've talked about them. I mean, we could just sort of list them. What do you think?
Like
I mean, Phil, I guess you can answer the question. Did you get those major points down in the minutes?
Well, I can tell. No, I did not. I intentionally did not get all of the criticisms that we had in or the sort of not criticisms, but the suggestions, because I wanted to leave the minutes as a summary
Right.
that we discussed that and that it's more generic, that ITAC will provide a meeting summary and takeaway, including takeaways and advisory suggestions. Dave will draft this document. Jonathan made a movement to allow Dave to draft this document and supply it to attending members of the meeting. The motion carried unanimously. Yeah, I'm just writing things I didn't intend to capture all the different.
Okay, no, that's fine. So I'll write them down. There's staffing, there's policy, which includes the incident response plan at the town level.
Belmont, there's something important we need to fix. Back in 2012.
What the heck is I didn't do that, did I?
So I'll tell you what I did have. That one integers. Okay, that we did have a summary that one integer seems very capable. That they gave the summary. That the scoring was reviewed. I guess BMLD is concerned with moving the EDR and wants to move the self-hosted Sentinel-1. I don't think that's a concern to us, right? And,
no, and actually, if my sense is integer 1 wants them to do that. My guess, and I don't know that they're pushing back, or if it's just a matter of they don't have the funds to do that today, and at some point they'll get there. But that's a different thing, and I'll certainly mention that in the summary of what we heard. But I don't know that we need to express an opinion on it.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, so the big three that I have for expressing concern are the staffing, the policy, and the lack of visibility to the SCADA systems. Is there anything else that I should put in as a big concern?
Thinking holistically about the townwide incident response plan.
Yeah,
that's part of the policy. Sorry, that's buried in,
okay.
That's built into the policy stuff.
Okay, got it.
staffing, policy, OT.
Yeah, if that visibility to SCADA is how I'm going to describe it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's, I don't know, Kristen, what do you, I mean, I think that's pretty much.
I think that gets it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll draft it up, run it by the 4 of us who were there, and sometime in the next, well, it's coming up on Thanksgiving. I don't know how quickly I'll get it out there, but sometime soon.
Sounds
All
good.
right. All right, I guess, are we ready to move on? Anybody have any other business?
No, I mean, I think the only other thing is, maybe following up with Dave, and trying to get him on the agenda for the December meeting, just to get a
Okay.
update on where things are with, the
'Cause-
contractor.
Yeah, because I kind of got two overall action items. The one was the drafting of the letter to the BMLD, and the other was following up on on a holistic approach to the IR plan.
Yep.
Town.
Okay. So I'll make sure to ask Dave for next meeting, or find out when he can. Because the next meeting, we're getting really close to the holidays.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a couple of people that we wanted to talk to. Excuse me. I'm probably going to get the names wrong, pronounce them wrong, but Peter Struziero from the library.
Yep.
I mean, the issues with the things we want to talk to Dave Petto about are probably more crucial, but if we're going to have any influence on the direction of the library, probably earlier is better than later. So
I was going to ask about that from the meeting minutes from last time. I know there's a committee like ours for energy issues. Are they involved already in the EV charger problem?
don't know.
Just
No idea.
which committee are you talking about, Kristen?
I'm not sure, but I thought there was an energy committee or a renewable energy committee or something like that. Just from seeing people propose stuff at town meeting.
Is that Phil Thayer and that group? I do.
I'm sorry, who?
Is that Phil
Uh,
Thayer? And
Maybe.
Yeah, Phil,
that sounds
Phil
right.
actually moved out of town, but I think he's still
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah. It's a zero net emissions kind of advocacy group that I've seen, who's been very, very vocal on all things kind of solar and EV and that kind of stuff. Is that who you're thinking of, or?
Yeah, that might be who I'm thinking of. I don't know if they're an actual committee with the scope to look at the library with the town's electric vehicle charging problems, but I just thought if there is a committee like that, we should probably have them involved as well, because I'm not sure if that will wind up being an IT issue or just.
Right.
Is it, I think it's just the energy committee is, yeah, to work towards achievement of the climate action plan.
Yeah.
Marty Bittner is on it, and yeah, John Coulterman, and yeah, Roger Rubel, Klaus.
Yeah, Klaus.
Yeah.
So what is that called? Is the Energy Commission?
I think it's energy.
It's called the
committee.
Energy Committee. Here, I'll share the link.
Yep, just found it.
Who is the chair? So it's got appointees from the select board, school department, town environmental group. Yeah. You want to reach out to Marty on that?
Yeah, who's the chair?
I can't tell.
Should move. I mean, probably chair to chair.
Yeah.
Kind of contact, I would think.
I don't know how up to date. They say Glenn Clancy is the staff contact.
Mhm.
Okay. Hold on one sec, Lee. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see a meeting of this. I don't see an agenda. Oh, no, yeah, no.
They have them on the side.
Yep, there they go. Yep, I see it. They're actually meeting, they met last night. Okay, well, we can reach out to them.
Yeah, I haven't found a chair anywhere yet.
Yeah, no.
I'll just make note of that. I mean, do we want is it a good idea for Dave, maybe you to reach out to or find out who the chair is, and or I guess you can get with Glenn and see who you talk to on that committee.
Yeah, you could ping Glenn Clancy, or you could probably just
Oh.
ping Arnie Bittner. I mean, he's very
I don't know who that is.
Huh?
I don't know who that is. I'm not very involved in the town other than this.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
So you're throwing a name out there that I've probably heard
Marty-
before, but I don't know him.
Marty lives on Claflin Street.
So that's right around down from me.
Yeah, yeah. Really nice guy, super involved in the town meeting member, you know, pretty involved in environmental stuff in the town.
In
Also a
the,
very good resource if you're looking to cut over to heat pumps. I tapped his brain for that.
take note of that.
Yes.
In the April 19th of this year meeting notes, the chair was James Booth. I don't know if that's still the case, but
Okay. Okay.
It's
I don't know. I don't know.
So
him. Oh,
I can reach out to the energy committee, but this is more about the EV chargers in the library that we're talking about, correct? Make sure I get my
that was the idea. Yes.
yeah.
Getting some ITAC input on, you know, as they're deploying these around town to.
Well, we had questions about other aspects of the library design, like discussion of all the cameras and how they were going to be secured. So yeah, I know the EV stuff was the most recent thing, but I think there were other issues that we talked about in the past that we didn't have a chance to pursue yet. Either that or I missed a meeting where we did.
Yeah, and like network segmentation and like, yeah, the kind of, you know, separating the patron network from the staff network and
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So we had those meetings with them, was it last spring, I guess, with the architect, and he brought in one of the companies that the cabling company. I don't know if they've hired an IT company who's going to do that stuff for them, or if that's something Dave's going to do with, you know, whatever contractors Dave uses. We probably, at the time, I think they really weren't ready to talk about it because they didn't have any plan in place. They were still figuring out where everything's going to be in the building. If they're, Peter would have to tell us that. And Paul, since you know him better than me and you're the library appointee, I'd rather you stick to talking to Peter because he's more likely to respond to you.
Sure. So what do we want to ask? Can we meet with them and go over some of this stuff?
Well, find out if they're even at a point where they can talk about it. I don't want to sit there and waste their time and hours if they haven't even started down that path yet.
Okay. Okay.
But
Right,
it might be worth at least pointing out that we're, a reminder, hey, we're here to help kind of get out ahead of any possible security concerns, networking, blah blah blah, any of that.
Yeah.
So I'll just put in the minutes that Paul, you'll reach out to the chair of the committee to get the conversation started.
No, he's going to reach out to Peter. I'll
reach out to Peter
I'll ask the energy committee about EV chargers and
I see.
How
do you spell Peter's last name?
Struzziero. Struzziero.
And that's regarding library IT concerns, as opposed to specifically the EV side of things?
Yeah, this is just sort of where are things in the planning process, and is it worthwhile reconvening with ITAC to just review some of the issues that we brought up before with securing smart devices within the environment, network segmentation, that type of stuff. The HVAC and the door access and
Yeah, right.
yeah, all that stuff.
All right. Anything else? Or are we on to picking the next meeting?
Just one question or technical point. When you draft this communique to the light department board, I assume that'll be in the form of an email message, probably, right?
That is my intent.
How about the idea of making sure that the people who didn't attend the meeting but are on this committee are CC'd on that?
I don't think that's a problem, and that would be my intent.
Great. All right, thank you.
All right. So the third Thursday in December is the 21st, which is pushing us pretty close to holiday time. I'm wondering if, given all that, I don't know if actually I may be away the week before. Are we better off just pushing to January? And that'll give me more time to try to get Dave lined up.
I think so.
So the third Thursday in January is the 18th.
That would be good for me.
Works for me.
Yep.
For me.
I'm not sure, but it looks pretty good right now. So let's put it up. Let's pencil it in.
Okay. So we'll go for the January 18th for our next meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded.
I'm not going to bother with a roll call.
Aye.
Everybody, have a good night, everyone. Thanks, Phil, for taking the minutes. Just chip them
No.
over whenever you get a chance.
Can you remind me the date that we're scheduled for?
January 18th,
Yeah.
2024.
Enjoy the holidays, everybody.
Yeah, have a good holiday.
Yeah, you too.
Holiday.
See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I know.